All right, back in the UFC and on the show for the very first time, Gina Mazany is getting set to take on Julia Ovule this Saturday in Las Vegas, Nevada. Gina, good to see you and your pink hair. How are you?
Heck yeah, it's good to see you guys. Good to meet you. I'm a happy camper. Life's good.
Right? So just when you thought you were out, they bring you back in. Like, I can't remember a time off the top of my head where a fighter was no longer with the UFC. They had one fight out of the promotion and are right back in. Circumstances be damned, Gina. You did it. How does it feel to be back on the roster?
I mean, it feels great. I really do believe that that's where I belong. I think that's where I deserve to be. I've worked too hard and I trained too much. I really haven't stopped since I've gotten fired. I would call that like a little bit of a setback, but I mean, in reality, it was a blessing in disguise. I just got better, just had a lot more time to sharpen my tools, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm stoked.
So how did this all come together? Because Julia was supposed to fight Carol Rosa, and this is the fourth time they try to book this fight, and the fourth time that it's fallen apart for various reasons. This time it was a visa issue and travel restrictions due to COVID-19. But how did you enter into this mix?
So, I mean, to be fair, I moved to Las Vegas from Seattle, and I moved to Las Vegas for these specific reasons that, I mean, in my opinion, I think Las Vegas is one of the fight capitals in the world. Now we have the UFC Performance Institute. There was the Contender Series. There's, Ultimate Fighter, all that kind of stuff. So if you're in the same state and the same city as, where you want to be, those opportunities are going to open up. So, during this whole quarantine thing, like obviously like Tim and I were still training and still doing our thing. Not as hard, I guess, but then there was talks of like fights happening, and I just kind of stayed ready. Like, I mean, hope for the best and expect the worst, you know what I mean? And I got a 9 days notice fight, and I mean, at least I'm not fighting Sarah McMahon this time. Like, I'm cool with it. I'm always game. I've never said no to anybody they've asked me to fight. So I'm really excited for it. And so stinking grateful.
After that fight with Macy Chiesa, like you talked about, your first run with the UFC came to an end. You came back around 10 or 11 months later for that King of the Cage fight, and you got a first round finish against Valerie Barney, who actually competed in a kickboxing bout against Holly Holm back in the day, which I thought was interesting. But what was that night like for you to just get back in there, your first fight out of the UFC, in your first fight in a while, and just go out there and get a finish like that?
So first, like when they let me go, I didn't know that I was fired for a good 6-7 months. But the management I was previously with had me under the impression to stay ready, to keep my weight low and be ready for a short notice fight. And obviously, like I'm a good listener, so that's what I did, and I stayed ready. And then I signed with Jason House, and then I was talking to Jason House, and basically he was like, "Oh, yeah, they let you go." And so I was like, "Shit, well, get me a fight," you know what I mean? And so I signed with him. But anyways, and then I got the fight in Colorado. It was crazy because my weight was like, I was walking around like 150 pounds, getting ready to take a short notice bantamweight fight. And the fight was at 155. So it was cool. I ate ice cream every night before I went to bed, and like, but I still had abs, and like, I was just, it was cool. But I mean, to be fair, like that win wasn't like, didn't give me the feels that I'm looking for on Saturday night. Like the feels that I'm looking for on Saturday night, I haven't felt in a minute. So I'm super hungry for this fight. I'm super ready. Yeah. But the Colorado fight was cool. It was a great promotion. Like they treated me kind, but it was, yeah, I'm really happy to be back where I am though.
So for 6 or 7 months, you thought that you were still on the roster, like waiting for your next fight?
Yeah, 100%. And, I was still going to the Performance Institute. I was still getting PT from them. I was still getting strength conditioning from them. I was still getting fed from them, but I wasn't on the roster. So it was a very weird situation. And I know Mick felt really bad that I was kind of being dicked around. So I'm grateful that he was, somewhat sympathetic for that, because it sucks. I guess it's I think being a fighter is a hard job as it is, but it's even harder when you're like working towards, you don't know what you're working towards. You know what I mean? If I didn't have a job with them, like I much rather would have gotten, I'm more happy if I'm active. And so I wasn't active during those 6 to 7 months. So it was, yeah, it sucked. It sucked, but yeah, I'm back.
So how did you react to all of it? Because you thought you were under contract. Jason House tells you something completely different. How do you react to finding out that for 6 or 7 months you've been doing all these things thinking you were on the roster and then find out that you're not on the roster at all?
I was fucking pissed. I was so mad. I just, because I'm 31 and I think with females especially, the older we get, the better we are, really. I do believe that. And we can fight till we're 35, 36, but it's I don't have any time to waste. I was healthy and I was ready and I was in shape and, and I was under the impression that opportunities like that would come along. And there were fights coming up and I was like, hey, if one of the girls fall out, I would love to take it. Hey, if one of these girls falls out, I'd love to take it. I was on it and I was doing my homework for my management team. And I was telling them, hey, I'll take any of these fights. I'll fight any of these girls. If they, someone doesn't make weight, or I'll make weight for this fighter. I tried everything and it just never happened. And it just it was such a bummer, but Jason House was a breath of fresh air where he sat me down and was like, hey, here's the deal. We're going to get you a fight. You're not going to make any money really, but that's okay. And then, hopefully maybe another fight. And then we'll get you back in the UFC. We'll get you back to a big promotion where you'll get paid. So, and he did what he said, and I did what I said I would do. So it's, stars are starting to align finally.
Right. Jeez Louise. Can't even imagine. But now you're back and you're taking on a 35er that a lot of people have their eye on right now. And Julia Ovule, she had that great win in her promotional debut around a year or so ago. Hasn't been able to get back in there because of these bookings with Rosa. They just kept falling apart. But now you get the chance to come back and play spoiler against a fighter with a lot of buzz right now. Does that sort of enhance your excitement a little bit?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I would say she's technically undefeated because her one loss, she hurt her finger somehow. I think it was a kick or something, but her bone was sticking out. So in my mind, she's technically undefeated. And but man, I'm stoked about that. Nothing worth having comes easy, and having a win over her would just give me those feels that I'm looking for, and would really make me feel good about all the hard work I've been putting in. And it is short notice, so the weight cut's gonna suck, and it's not I'm prepared, but it's short notice is short notice, so it is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm excited to fight her. It'll be a fun fight.
So it sounds like you're pretty familiar with her.
Yeah, I've seen her fight a few times. We follow each other on Instagram. It was cool after I got the call and I was like, hell yeah, I'll take the fight. And right after she messaged me and she goes, thanks so much for saving this fight. I'll see you next week. And I was like, fuck yeah, sounds good, So yeah, she's definitely a prospect and she's got a good record and she's good and she's tough and hasn't been finished and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Do you feel like you're going into this fight with a lot less pressure on you now? Because, if you look at the betting odds, you're the biggest underdog on the card right now, which, what is what it is. But, do you feel like you're playing with house money a little bit? You're going in there 9 days notice. There's not a lot of time to overthink this one.
I mean, yeah, for me, I always put a little bit of pressure on myself, but, they say pressure makes diamonds, and that's what I'm going for. It's big risk, big reward. And I wouldn't be in the UFC in the first place if I didn't take these kind of opportunities. If a door kind of cracks open, I gotta burst through it. I'm gonna Sparta kick that damn door down. But what else am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? That's this kind of attitude you have to have in this game. But yeah, it's I don't remember the question. I'm just so jazzed.
You want those feels. I'm talking about the pressure heading into the fight.
Yeah, there's always pressure. It was funny, when I was listening to Tim getting interviewed and stuff, and a lot of people were like, man, this is kind of a do or die fight, but all fights are do or die. Every single fight I've had, my very first fight was a do or die fight. So it was am I really cut out for this? Is this really my jam? And this fight, it's it's a do or die fight for me. It's does Gina really deserve to be in the UFC? And is she really able to step up to these girls? I love being the underdog. I love being, I don't know. I have enough people around me that believe in me, and like I believe in myself to where like I don't need those fools. I don't need people who are like betting against me. That's cool. Like do your thing, but I'll surprise everybody.
Yeah, I was probably one of those people who asked him that question, but
oh, it's cool, but it's like, I mean, when it was, I'm glad those questions were asked because like it puts in reality like every fight's a do or die. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I've never had a fight where I'm like, if I lose, like whatever. Like I just want to be I want to be successful. I think all of us in this sport wants to be successful, which how much work you have to put in to like get prepared for these kind of things.
So do you look at this fight right now, being back in the UFC, do you feel and approach things a little bit differently than you did maybe say with the Macy fight? Like, is your feeling heading into it a much different feeling than it was a year and a half ago?
Yeah, because I've gotten better and I feel like I have more of an answer for everything. Obviously, like getting like caught and knocked out, like that was crazy. That sucked. But it's like, I didn't have any control over that. So it's like, I'm just going to go in and like be hungry and do my thing. And just like the goal always stays the same. The goal always stayed the same. When I got fired from the UFC and I made under $1,000 for my Colorado fight, like the goal still stayed the same. Like, I just want to be the best Gina Bear I can be. And, but yeah, I don't know. The feeling's pretty much like, it's all the same. It's weird. Fighting's weird.
It is. What do you think is the biggest difference between the Gina we're going to see on Saturday compared to the one we saw against Macy?
I think it sucks because like I really wish the Macy fight would have gone on longer so I could have showed you guys more shit. But like, I mean, hopefully you'll see more of what I've been working on when I've been making things perfect and like making, I don't know, just being a better Gina Bear. And I mean, hopefully that will show up on Saturday, and I'm sure she will. But yeah, I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better.
How is Tim's right there with you. How is he doing? I mean, that fight with Brandon Royval was bananas. It was absolutely insane. I loved watching every second of it. You got an extra 50 G's, which doesn't hurt at all. But what was it like for you to watch that fight and have it play out the way that it did?
Oh God, he's inside getting tacos.
Okay.
He's doing good, and it sucks because like his gas tank just ran out, and he just put on such a high pace, and like that's something that I needed to learn too. And I'm in a way like it's a blessing in disguise for my fight. Like I put on that kind of a pace, but I also got a 9 days notice for this. I'm in shape. I'm in great shape, but I mean, I don't think I'm at that fight pace that he was at, So he's doing good, and I'm grateful that he got the bonus just because it's not just for the money, but like just to be recognized that he is a good fighter and he's a very talented dude, and there's no reason why he can't be winning right now. And he just got caught, and that sucks. But he's doing good. We're gonna, after this fight, we were actually gonna plan on going tomorrow. We were planning on driving up to Kansas City. Tim's daughter's out there, and we're going to go train James Krause for a little bit and hang out with his kid and all that fun stuff. But we're going to wait till after my fight.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Brandon because he's still kind of pissed about the fight. He didn't think he performed that well, and he gave Tim all the respect in the world and said that I felt like I just got my ass kicked until he got tired. That was like the way he approached the fight, and you got to respect the honesty there. But Tim had his fight, and now you're going to have yours against Julia Ovule. Opportunity to return to the UFC and just make a huge splash on Saturday night. How do you see this thing playing out?
I think I'm gonna surprise her quite a bit. I really do. I have a feeling that her and her team might be underestimating me a little bit, like everyone else is. But it's like, I mean, I feel like if somebody, I don't know, I've just been training with grown men for the past 6 to 8 weeks and getting my butt kicked by grown men and then kicking grown men's butts for the past 6 to 8 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm used to the kind of grind and the pressure that she likes to put on girls, and like, that's nothing new to me. So like, I'm actually more comfortable there in that grind and grit and like getting really tired. Like, that's my jam. So, I don't know. You guys will just have to see. Probably a little, I don't know, She'll probably hold me up against the cage. I'll circle off and elbow her, and all that fun stuff. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. And then Jessica, who you know pretty well, is going to be headlining this event. So is it pretty cool to get your return and share the card with her as the headliner?
Oh, it's awesome. She was one of the first people I told when I got the fight, because her and I have been training a little bit together, and helping her get ready and stuff. And, and I always kept in that mindset, like, I might get a call. You never know. And so, yeah, like that, it's really cool. And last time we fought in the same weekend when I fought in Colorado, and she won and I won. So hopefully, we'll keep the ball rolling for sure.
Go. Gina, thank you for the time. Congratulations on getting back to the UFC. Big opportunity ahead of you, and I'm really excited to watch it. Congratulations on everything, and all the best to you in Vegas.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.